Okay, good day, grade 10. So I'm going to continue with the techniques for problem solving. So our very next technique is called the Scamper Technique. And this is an acronym actually. So you'll see just now what Scamper stands for. Problems often need to be looked at from different angles in order to solve them. The Scamper method offers simple guidelines to help you to see things differently. So this method is most appropriate for improving a product or thinking of ideas for new products. Um, and the company or the business will usually start with an existing product or service, for example, a backpack or a lunchbox or a milk carton or a mobile library service. And then they will improve on the existing product or service. And how they will do that is they will use the following steps, and they don't skip any steps. They use them as they are. So firstly, it's substitute. So this so they ask the question over here, can we use something or someone else for this purpose? So how can they substitute something in the product? So maybe the milk carton, maybe find a substitute material instead of the box that they usually use. Maybe replace that with glass that is recyclable, that will make their product more interesting for people to buy. And then the next one is they ask, the next part of Scamper technique is combine. So can we combine this resource with something else? Can they combine something? So maybe what would be a good, maybe in your lunchbox, there's a section. So this is already what they've done. They've made a section for the juice, or they've made a section for vegetables. So they've combined something. Then adapt. Can we use this differently? So can we use it for multi-purposes, not just for what it is meant for? Can we use it in a different way? For example, let's say a charger. Now the chargers, you don't have to plug them in. So portable charger, for example, instead of just having, so a cell phone comes from is a portable phone. So now you can take your charger with you as well, in a portable charger or a power bank. Then modify. How can we rearrange or alter this product? Can we change the packaging? Can we change the shape, the size maybe, or the texture? Can we run the service at a different time or in another place? That is modifying something, improving it, making it better. And then the next one is put to other uses, put to another use. Can we use this for something else? That's very the same as adapt. Then eliminate. Can we get rid of anything to make this product or service work better? And then reverse. How can I change, reorganize, or reverse? Okay, so maybe a reversible jacket, or now during COVID-19, people are making reversible masks, so you can turn it around and have different patterns or different comments or different shapes on your mask or different colors. Okay, so that's just an idea of what the Scamper technique is. Then the next technique. Okay, sorry about that. Let me just see if it moves now. Okay, it's moving. So the next technique is the nominal group technique. But before I go to the nominal group technique, activity 2, look for a picture of an item and use the Scamper technique to improve or change the item by suggesting new or creative uses for the item. Okay, so you can literally, you don't have to use a magazine or a newspaper if you don't have them available at home. You can draw a picture, you can think of an item. You don't have to draw the picture, you can just write down what it is: a table, a chair, a cupboard, a mirror. Yeah, okay. The nominal group technique. So this is similar to the Delphi technique. We'll get to the Delphi technique, but done in the business. The problem is first described to the group. Then, without any discussion, each person writes a list of their ideas or solutions. Then these ideas are collated, and participants can explain their ideas to the group. The group members vote on the best ideas, and the votes are combined, and then the idea, obviously, that has the most votes is then implemented. Okay, so this is done in the business, very similar to the Delphi technique. It encourages thinking because the contributions are anonymous. So they don't know where the solutions or ideas are coming from. And in this way, everybody in the group has an equal say, irrespective of rank. So irrespective whether you are a manager or just a normal employee, irrespective of influence or importance. So it uses open-ended questions, and each person then spends a few minutes brainstorming. That's how they come up with a list of ideas, and then they give their contribution, and then they vote for the best contribution. Okay, so that's the nominal group technique. Then the next one is called force field analysis. So use this technique when you plan a change in product, goods, or services. This technique makes you think of all the negative forces beforehand, or all the negative things that your product or your service might face before you even implement the product, the new product or service. So that you can take steps to minimize them. You can also list all the positive forces and strengthen them. Okay, so in this technique, you first list and discuss the various forces that are in favor of the proposal or the proposed change, and that is called driving forces. Then list and discuss the various forces that are against the proposed change, and those are called restraining forces. In this way, you think of all the pros and cons of a proposed change. So you think of all the disadvantages and the advantages of a particular idea. Lastly, you have to weigh up the pros and cons, and obviously, if the driving forces outweigh the restraining forces, then it's a go ahead. You can go ahead with the product because then your pros are outweighing your cons. But if your cons are outweighing your pros, then you probably have to reconsider or re-strategize or come up with a better idea or solution for your product or your service. So here's a little example of force field analysis. So in the middle over there is it says using tablets in class. So that is the problem or the solution. Then there is forces for and forces against using something in class or tablets in class. So forces for greater access to more information, can last for a longer time if looked after, do not have to carry heavy textbooks anymore. Then forces against using tablets in class, students get access to unwanted internet sites. It is expensive to buy, and textbook licensing fees are expensive. Then they total it. So each one, they take a vote, I guess. There's a vote. They see which do the pros outweigh the cons. And in this instance, the pros outweigh the cons, so it'll probably be a good idea to have or to use tablets in class. Okay, that's just a little example. So let's quickly have a look at the next. Oh, my slides are stuck. Okay, so example of force field analysis. This one is in the business, introduction of a coffee corner in the office. So increase of employee morale. So these are forces, this is driving force, and at the bottom is the restraining force. So let's see the driving force or the pros. Increase employee morale, increase communication and motivational. And then the cons, cost of installation. So it's expensive, maintenance costs. It's expensive to maintain the coffee corner. Old conservative boss is totally against it, and staff downtime. So staff downtime means that now they'll be spending a lot of time in the coffee corner. So more than usual because it's convenient, it's right over there, you can quickly go and get coffee, and now you're standing there for the next 15 minutes chatting to a colleague when you should be working. Okay, so I would say for this one that the cons outweighs the pros, so it's probably not a good idea to introduce a coffee corner in the office. Okay, then the chair technique or the empty chair technique. So this technique is interesting. So we borrowed the empty chair technique from psychotherapy, basically. It is similar to the chair technique. So the empty chair and the chair technique are very similar to each other. The idea is that somebody who has a problem, usually with a person, but it could also be with a company or a product, must talk to an empty chair to voice their grievances or frustrations. Another person writes down the grievances or problems. The empty chair technique works on the principle that many people find it easier to voice their grievances if there is nobody to hear them. Okay, so that's what the empty chair technique looks like. And of course, you write down all the pros and all the cons as well. Then the Delphi technique. So remember, we said that this is very similar to the nominal group technique. So the Delphi technique is the systematic gathering of expert opinions or information to use in forecasts. Groups do not meet face to face. This technique is used when there may be hidden agendas or of personal conflicts. A questionnaire is sent to all participants, which they complete and send back to business. Answers or recommendations are collated and returned to participants. Participants vote on the best option, and these votes are combined. The option with the most votes can be implemented. Okay, so it was developed by Warren Edwards. He is the head of Delphi Risk Management. Edwards did not rate brainstorming in groups as a very good way of solving problems. So the Delphi technique involves the use of a series of confidential questionnaires to solve a problem. And then I have gone through the steps of the Delphi technique. Forced combination. So come up with a new idea. This is basically what forced combination is. Write down a number of words on separate scraps of paper. Then put all of these into a hat. Draw 2 scraps of paper, read the 2 words, and think of something that would combine the 2 words. Okay, so over here, for example, if you have a look, I have an electric car. So the 2 words that was probably pulled from the hat over here was electric and car. And then can you see they put the 2 together and it gets a forced combination. Sticky note, glue, and notepad, and then cell phone, cellular, and telephone, and you get a cell phone. So this is a lot of times how products and how services become better or how they improve over the years using these different types of techniques. And businesses use these techniques to help them to solve problems, but not only that, it helps them to be more creative. It allows those creative juices to start flowing so that they can come up with really interesting and cool solutions to new products and to new ideas. Okay. So that is, I think we're done. Yeah, we are done with techniques for problem solving and creativity. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, grade 10s. Until next time.